Putting Cowboy Like Me in AirPods is not enough. Literally have Taylor Swift bash me with a guitar playing Cowboy Like Me. I could be cursing us right now. Don't hate me if I'm accidentally cursing us. What? No, it wasn't. Jack. It is like, is his name Jack? I need to look this up. Hey guys, it's Ems and welcome back to my reading room. Today is Bookmas Day 6. I'm going to be giving y'all my Spotify Wrapped but as books. The way this is going to work, I'm going to go through my entire Spotify Wrapped for 2024 with y'all, and when we get to the top 5 songs section, I'm going to be giving y'all one book recommendation for each song. Then we will go through with the rest of my Spotify Wrapped. I was trying to figure out how to incorporate my Spotify Wrapped into a Bookmas video this year, and I thought this was the perfect way. I've seen a couple people do this on TikTok, but I wanted to show y'all my entire Spotify Wrapped because there's podcasts, top singers, like all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to go through all of it, but also give y'all book recommendations in this video. The way we're going to do this is I'm going to split screen with my Spotify Wrapped, and I'm going to let it play for y'all while I kind of just talk about it. First thing that it shows you is the amount of minutes you listened this year. I listened 71,996 minutes. This listening day was October 25th with 1,053 minutes, which makes a lot of sense because this was actually a day that I was on a 2-hour bus ride heading to a football game. So obviously throughout the entire day I was listening to music and then on the bus ride. The next thing is that I played 2,255 songs this year, which actually is kind of crazy to me. I feel like this is probably just because I throw on book playlists and it plays songs that I never play. The next thing is actually not surprising to me at all. It is my top song, which was Cowboy Like Me by Taylor Swift, which I listened to 227 times this year, starting January 1st. Putting Cowboy Like Me in AirPods is not enough. Literally have Taylor Swift bash me with a guitar playing Cowboy Like Me because that is what I need when I listen to this song. I was in the 0.001% of people listening to Cowboy Like Me this year, which I am a-okay with because I gatekeep Cowboy Like Me like nobody gatekeeps Cowboy Like Me. Talking about Cowboy Like Me, I'm going to give y'all my first book recommendation with my #1 top song this year. The book I'm about to recommend to y'all is by my top author. My #1 author and my #1 song. I'm going to be recommending y'all Reckless by Elsie Silver. No, not just because he's a cowboy. Like, yes, that's a part of it, but not just because of that, I promise. I personally see Cowboy Like Me as a romance song. Just the way it flows and the words you listen to, if you listen to it in a romance perspective, is such a love song. But I do know that this is more of a con artist song, and you don't really see that with Reckless, but I don't really read con artist books, and I don't really have anything like that to recommend, so I am going to recommend Reckless. The reason I put these two together is because there's something she says in Cowboy Like Me, and I will read it. You asked me to dance, but I said dancing is a dangerous game. Oh, I thought this is gonna be one of those things. Now I know I'm never gonna love again. That quote specifically, hear me out. They play games this entire book, and when you meet Theo and Winter, they are witty, they have banter. Theo is just really into Winter with, oh, this is gonna be a dangerous game. Now I know I'm never gonna love again. Theo immediately knew that this was his girl. And I don't, like, they are not insta-lovey, but he knew. He immediately was like, yep, she's mine. That's my girl. The tropes and everything that goes on in this book, like, they really mean a lot to each other. And I feel like in Cowboy Like Me, I could really see that being a song that correlates, even if it doesn't make sense in the context of Cowboy Like Me. I am going to have them just listed out right here, but these are my top 5 songs, and now I'm going to give y'all a book for each of them. Starting with #2 is The Bolter by Taylor Swift. There's going to be a reoccurring theme throughout this. For The Bolter, I did Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. If you want a Bolter girl, Rue is your character. She is non-committal. Like, she does not want to be in a relationship with anyone. She is there just for the fun of things. And once she meets Jack, it is like, is his name Jack? I need to look this up. Eli. His name's Eli. Who is Jack? Did I do this last time too? Did I call this guy Jack last time? Enjoyed Jack and Rue. Jack and Rue? Is that what? No, oh my gosh. Who's Jack? Y'all, his name is Eli. As I was saying, Rue does not really want to be in a relationship with Eli. Even though they are hitting it off, she is the bolter. Like, she is not trying to stay with him. She is not going to commit. And you see that a lot, and it is a reoccurring theme in this book. In Not in Love, you see Eli's company starting to kind of take over Rue's job, and this ends up becoming some kind of forbidden romance. And there is just this bolter tension to it. She does not want to be with him because he is just kind of this mean guy taking over her workplace, like all these kind of things, yet there's still this connection between them that I found very intriguing, which also kind of runs with the bolter. In my top 3, the next song was The Prophecy. I love The Prophecy. This song is one of my favorites. For The Prophecy, I gave it to the book Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I feel like Evangeline is so The Prophecy coded. Her as a main character in general, she really just wants to find love, and she is looking for this kind of romantic feeling in her life that she would do anything for it. And in The Prophecy, you are really getting just like, please, I've been on my knees, change the prophecy, let it once be me. That is so Evangeline, and I ride by that statement. Evangeline is a hopeless romantic who really wants to get married. She has this longtime lover who ends up getting with her sister. She does not think that he really wants to be with her sister, so she's trying to figure out a way to break this engagement and kind of be with him. This is not a spoiler, first chapter, but she wants to be with him. She ends up making a deal with the fate, which in The Prophecy, she is like wishing for a deal, wishing for something to come down and strike her with romance and love. And Evangeline kind of gets that. She gets this chance to figure out curses and do stuff to break off this engagement. Evangeline is taught to never make a deal with a fate. And in this case, she does not care. She wants to be loved, and she wants this romance for herself that she is just not finding. So she makes a deal. Hearts for that. Hearts for Once Upon a Broken Heart. The 4th song I listened to the most this year was The One by Taylor Swift. I had a phase with The One. This next book may be a bit controversial with this song because it is not a they don't end up together. Series hasn't ended yet. I don't really read non-happily ever afters, so I have to give this to a book where they don't have a happily ever after yet, and technically, we don't know if they will. I could be cursing us right now. Don't hate me if I'm accidentally cursing us. The book I'm giving to The One is the Empyrean series, Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. I know we have 2 more books, but there's a chance that they don't end up together. I am a Xaden lover, but with everything going down and the way Rebecca Yarros ends her books and the way she talks about it, like, I don't know if they're going to be the one. Okay? I don't know. I feel like The One is this very kind of like, I was in love with you, and I really understand where we were in this time, and if you could have been the one, I wish you could have been the one, but I am kind of okay with you not being the one. And I feel like that they're in love now, but the enemies to lovers to enemies to lovers to all of this stuff, and the way Iron Flame ended, don't hate me, this could be the one. The 5th song in my top 5 was actually So American by Olivia Rodrigo. I saw her in concert this year and absolutely obsessed with her music. So when So American came out, like on repeat every day. I've actually already recommended this book in my Olivia Rodrigo book recommendations video, but I'm going to recommend it again because I could not think of anything better for So American. This is Girl Abroad by Elle Kennedy. I was not obsessed with this book and it was not groundbreaking, but it makes so much sense with So American. The premise of Girl Abroad is about Abby, who is going to study abroad to kind of get away from her famous dad and make this name of her own. She steps out of her comfort zone and studies abroad, and she accidentally ends up moving into a dorm with 3 other guys. And her like overprotective dad would like freak if he found this out, so she doesn't tell anyone. In this, you're kind of seeing a love triangle romance. I'm not going to tell you who it's with, but there is a love triangle. In So American, it's kind of just like, he laughs at all my jokes, he thinks I'm so American. The whole idea of Girl Abroad is literally this girl from America going to London, and they kind of all just love her because she's like this American girl. They're learning so much about her and she's learning so much about them, and it just always hits with So American. And I've recommended this so many times, and I don't want to just like say the same thing over and over again. Okay, so that was my top 5 songs, and now we're just going to get into the rest of my Spotify wrap. Next thing on here is my top podcast. My top podcast was Bookmarked by Sarah and Des. I personally love them. Like, their booktubes and their podcasts, I listen to it repeatedly. Like, I literally listen to Bookmark twice. I will listen to it on Spotify and I will watch it on YouTube. Like, I just love their podcast, so it's like makes so much sense that they're number 1. Like, I literally tagged them and I was like, y'all are my number 1 immediately. Yes. Like, when I have Don't Tell Anyone with Pokimane, I had a bit of a phase with them. When Don't Tell Anyone with Pokimane first came out, I was kind of keeping up to date with it, but then I kind of fell off of it. And as you can see, I only have 3 podcasts, so it's like I'm not listening to a lot of podcasts other than Bookmarked. The next one is Anything Goes with Emma Chamberlain, which I would have expected I listened to more of that this year. I had this like self-help arc in like freshman year where I just repeatedly listened to all of Emma Chamberlain's podcasts. So it was like this year I was probably burnt out with it. Being senior year, it was like, okay, I probably didn't listen to it as much as I normally do, but I still listened to a couple podcast episodes. These like playlist names, I'm just gonna like put a little screenshot of the ones that I got. I just like did not really care for these, and I didn't memorize what their names were, so it's like, these were my playlists. Then we get to some of the more fun stuff. I listened to 833 artists this year. It's also a surprise to me. Same with my music taste. I listen to the same artists over and over again, so this definitely is just like background playlists and other things where I just somehow end up listening to music I don't normally listen to. If you couldn't have guessed it by my top 5 songs, my top artist was What? No, it wasn't! If you couldn't guess, my top artist was Taylor Swift. Obviously, like, if Taylor Swift wasn't your top artist, and I just don't see how if you listen to her music. Like, she's literally all I listen to over and over again, especially with Torture Poets coming out. Like, those are my top songs, so it's like, it makes a lot of sense. Then we get to the rest of my artists. The top 5 artists for me this year were Taylor Swift, Conan Gray, Olivia Rodrigo, Harry Styles, and Chappell Roan. All of these are just to prove that I am just a girl and I love my pop girly music. With Conan Gray, I have phases with Conan so much. I love his Super Ache album, and it is always on repeat. The Exit, Astronomy, People Watching, all of those songs, Kid Crow, everything. I am always listening to Conan, and he is in all my playlists. Then we have Olivia Rodrigo. As I said, I went to her concert this year. I was blasting Sour, blasting Guts, and even if I didn't go to her concert this year, I think she would be on here because she has been for multiple years in a row. Next one is a little surprising, but it is my King Harry. Not surprising in the fact that I don't love his music, surprising in the fact that he literally released nothing this year. I have just had the same albums, HS1, on repeat for forever, especially Sweet Creature. I love Sweet Creature. That is my favorite song ever by him, and it is on repeat 24/7 of the day. We have Miss Chappell Roan. I actually saw Chappell Roan in concert as well. She opened for Olivia Rodrigo when I went in February, but at the time I had no clue who she was, so I was kind of just vibing out, and then she got more popular in the summer, and I love her music. My Kink is Karma, After Midnight, all of those songs, everything to me. After this, I got my little Taylor Swift video and my Spotify Wrapped was done. Really hope y'all enjoyed my Spotify Wrapped. I am a pretty nosy person, so I'm always looking for people's Spotify Wraps and seeing what they were doing, what they were saying, like why their Spotify Wrapped is the way it is. I'm so glad I added a book element to it. I think it makes it so much more Bookmas and so much more festive. Especially it being December, it totally makes sense to do like my 2024 statistics of music with a bit of books in it. If you are looking to see any more of my social medias or keep up to date with me on anything else while I'm not videoing daily, you can check out my social medias here. It is mostly Ems Reads here on everything. Thank you guys so much for coming to Bookmas Day 6, and I will see you guys in the next one tomorrow. Bye. See you later.
Why don't you stream on TikTok anymore? Oh, buddy, don't